The Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Digital Entertainment On Demand and their associate sponsors.
William Friend is on pole position and he's got Brandon Staffen all the way from Cape Town. Big shout out to him. It's not an easy trip and it costs a lot of money to come out here and compete. So great ride. And CJ Hackett, watch out for him in third position there. Tyrese Robert just behind there on the second row of the grid. It's all about the start. William Friend gets his weight over the front and we're trying to see it's a good start there from the front row. Actually not the best of start from CJ Hackett.
Got the whole shot.
He's got a terrible start. So it looks like the Cape Town man who's into turn one first.
Yeah, Staffen gets the whole shot. William Friend tucks in behind him, and they open up a little bit of margin there on, well, CJ Hackett, as you said, not getting a great start at all, and you can see him starting to battle through the field, but a super effort there from the top two to get away. Now, can they keep that momentum? Is that Lance Marais in third place? It is. Lance Marais came out of nowhere in sixth place, and just after the mistake coming out of CJ, who was in third, went around him and got up into third place. It's Tyrese Robert in fighting for fourth, because Dominic Doyle just outgunned him going into turn four.
That's Staffen out front. You could see William Friend was lining up the pass, but Staffen was so hard on the brakes and he managed to hold the line. And oh, Friend running wide there and he was almost off the track. He really had to adjust his position as he comes onto the front straight. Now it's Slipstream City. It's a short straight, but for these bikes you can capitalize on the slipstream because it lines you up for a pass into turn one on the brakes. William Friend trying, no, he's going to just sit behind the Cape Town man at the moment, and these two look like they're going to already start putting a little bit of a gap. But Marais, like you said, a great start there.
Yeah, the one cool thing about it is if he looks behind him, his closest championship rival is actually Dominic Doyle and Luca Coccioni. Brandon Staffen's only down in fourth place, so he's got some work to do this weekend. He needs 2 wins to bring himself back into the championship for the final round, but if that is how William Friend is going to be riding on the transport.co.za machine, he's going to be a tough man to beat.
How's that shot? Oh, we got that's CJ Hackett.
CJ down.
That's Hackett. Oh, we saw him make a bad start and he tried to make up for it, and I think going into the left-hander here has unfortunately dropped it. So not the great introduction to Super Juniors there, but the nice thing about it is there's a race 2. So he's picked the bike up, get that bike fixed, race 2, get a better start and go for the podium.
To be honest with you, if there's no damage to the bike, I've seen it on occasion, including with Dave Griffin at the last Northern Regions, he put it down in the chicane and actually picked the bike up and still finished 5th. So if there's no damage potentially on the motorcycle, and there's very little when they do go down these bikes, they are extremely rugged, CJ could possibly get back up and still score some points. Remember, it's only his first time out at national championship level. He's down at turn 2, which is where they're heading right now, so no overtaking into turn 2, which is why I think we saw a little bit of a back out there from Staffen.
William Friend out front. He's trying to pull the gap now on Staffen. Nice, beautiful wide sweeping now. Now watch it right hand. Flat out on that throttle. You saw it just rolling, and then 100% throttle. Looks behind him. Don't do that, William. You're out front. Just put your head down and concentrate on lap times. But it's that man making his way through the field now. That's Dominic Doyle on bike number 26. And remember, he's second in the championship at the moment, so he's really got to make positions to at least get on the podium to close down that man, William Friend.
William Friend sitting with 43-point differential to Dominic Doyle, who sits down in 4th place. So he's got the work to do here this weekend. Staffen needs to take a double victory. If he takes a double victory, it means that there's a possibility that we'll wrap this championship up only at Desi's Raceway. If Friend takes a double here, I don't think there's a mathematical chance for anybody to catch him.
And that's exactly what he's looking to do. William Friend, I saw the look in his eye in the pits. Look at him getting that KTM RC390 all kinds of sideways into turn 2 there. The look in his eyes when he came in this weekend, he wants a championship wrapped up here. He wants to go to Desi and have fun knowing that he's got that number 1 plate.
That'd be incredible.
Oh, out of the seats, now, William Friend.
I was about to talk to you about what Matt and I have been discussing all season long. There has been development on these motorcycles. They're not quite the same spec as the European Championship bikes that are out there, which have got the aftermarket systems on the front end and on the rear.
That's to keep the price down.
Correct. But to keep the price down does mean that you've got to deal with the stock standard forks, and there have been issues. We've seen the likes of Doran Larrea go down. We saw CJ Hackett go down. We've seen Cameron Aiken go down at the beginning of the season, at the very first round, due to the fact that they're still developing how far these forks can be pushed.
100%, and William Friend is out front, and you can see he really is pushing it, and they don't have much horsepower. They've got enough, but you could see if you get on the gas too early, you've still got to be very careful on the bike. No traction control, none of that. It's literally a key. You put the key in, you turn it on, you press the start button, and off you go. Tire pressure again plays a massive role in these. You can be 0.1 out and it can change the whole aspect of the bike. So William Friend there, nice style. You see him now standing the bike up, learning from the mistake the lap before, but Staffen is still right there, so it's just no respite for William Friend out front.
Now, the other aspect that Matt and I have been discussing, which I want to bring you in on as well, is the fact that the slightly bigger riders seem to have the advantage. You look at William Friend, he's about 2-3 feet taller than Brandon Staffen. Staffen still able to run with him, but he's a very strong rider, and as you mentioned, Cape Town are touting him as a future champion. However, as we go through the field, you'll see the slightly smaller riders like Murray. There is another shot of Hackett parked on the sideline. Is that the second time he's gone down, or is that just possibly him still parked on the sideline after that first incident? We'll wait and see. But I was talking about the fact that the bigger riders, Daz Lorraine ran at the front with William Friend. So the two of them are slightly taller riders, and they seem to have a little bit more bulk on them. When I talk about the strength of the rider is a bit bigger. The lighties, or the younger riders and the shorter riders, battling a bit on these bikes still.
You know what it does on these bikes, Greg, is that little bit of extra weight almost gives you more traction from the bike. There's a little bit more weight on the bike, so it keeps the bike slightly more planted. So a little guy like Staffen, you can see behind, maybe won't have the same amount of traction as William Friend has in the corners, but at the same time, it's a effect down the straights, because William Friend maybe 1 or 2 kilos heavier than Staffen, and he loses out on horsepower. So it definitely plays into each other's hands. You've got to be oh so clever. You've got to play to your strengths and weaknesses on these bikes. You can't just hammer them, because you will land on your face, as we've seen a couple of riders do. But William Friend out front at the moment. Staffen is now starting to charge him, but Friend, we've seen him lead from the front so many times this year. He knows how to lead, he knows how to win, but at the same time, Staffen also knows how to lead and how to win.
Now, that's a cool thing to take into account. And remember, with this race, we are looking at a 12-lapper for the juniors. So we're about at the halfway stage now, if my mathematics is right, and we've got to change up for the lead. So almost to Q. Brandon Staffen moves ahead of William Friend. Friend will probably give him a chance to run at the front, see where he may have some chinks in the armor, and look to pounce a bit later on. But more importantly, he needs to look behind him. And this time he needs to look behind him, because Dominic Doyle is now up to 3rd place. And if he can only finish 2nd to Doyle, that's points he's losing, and possibility of wrapping the championship up is not going to happen.
And you'll also see that he's got a big gap on Doyle, so it'll really just leave him and Staffen out front, so it'll take a lot of pressure off him. He won't be concentrating so much on behind him, but rather in front of him. The man in the RST leathers, that's Staffen from Cape Town. And Staffen really looking on form. Remember, he doesn't come here and do a lot of laps. He's from Cape Town, so he really comes here, gets a little bit of track time that he does, learns the track a lot quicker than he has to than the other guys who get to ride here week in, week out almost, and doing a great job out front at the moment.
Well, the one cool thing is that he has had a chance to run here at the first round. He actually took place and took part with Q and Sneyman here at Red Star Raceway at the first time we came out. Now, when you look at the shortened version of the circuit, which is what you're riding for Super Juniors, there's not a massive difference in terms of the cornering speed and the lines that you'll take, whether you go clockwise or anti. It always happens when it's on the bigger circuit down into the bone section.
Yes.
That's where you lose out time.
100%.
However, here you can carry very similar lines, so it wouldn't have been too difficult to learn the track the other way around.
Yeah, definitely. It really is a short track. They're running like just under a minute lap times kind of thing, so really is easy to learn, but you still have to, he's got to learn the bike every time he comes down, and the track and everything. So really he's got a lot of pressure on those young shoulders, and that's why the guys from Cape Town are rating him so highly. It's because he's managing to take the pressure and convert it into potential race wins at such a young age.
2-kilometer circuit at the moment that they're playing on, not the full 4Ks, and it's all about Brandon Staffen. He's at the front end of this field, and we've got about 3.5 laps to go as they head down into what is turn 3 on the short circuit. William Friend, he can sit behind Staffen and finish 2nd behind Staffen comfortably. Just has to hope that Lance Murray can maybe put Doyle behind him and one position further back in the results for a points point of view.
Greg, we both know William Friend. He's not going to sit by. If you tell a 15 or 14-year-old, listen, just sit there and take 2nd place, he's going to slap you all day long. He wants to win. That's all these youngsters want to do, is win.
Okay, I'll take that back.
Yeah, take that back. So Brandon Staffen, this race is by no means done. Luca Coccioni, we saw him before in the NGL 60 seconds, telling us about his superhero being Valentino Rossi. So that was a good, better than Batman Lance Isaacs.
Sure, yeah.
Coming on to the front straight here, great shot from the bridge on top here, right by our commentary position almost. Yeah. But Staffen still out front. He's got a little bit of a gap now on William Friend, so maybe William Friend in his mind is saying, like what you were saying, let me just pick up the points, and at the end of the day, could be a champion.
I just picked up on a rider running wide there, and
that's CJ.
That's CJ again. So CJ Hackett just not having a good day in the saddle at all, just battling with conditions here. And I'm sure there's probably a problem on the bike after the first down, and he's now just trying to circulate to get some points in the bag. The gap's opened up ever so slightly, but it's manageable. You can close that down if you're able to. And William Friend, we certainly know, can do that if required. Staffen will look to take this victory. There's no doubt about it. He has to take victories right to the end of the season if he wants a shot at the title or even a top 3. And I think that's where Staffen is looking to get to. He looks back as they cross the line, and it's all about Brandon Staffen and William Friend. as they start 3 to go.
We've got a couple of laps remaining, and Greg, oh, there's Steffen's down. You saw him on the brakes. He turned in a little bit too early. Almost looked like he hit a couple of bunts and just had the brake on too much, and it just lost the front. As we were singing, I was just about to say to him, Greg, there's no better feeling than taking a trophy home, taking it to school on Monday by accident in your backpack. I used to do it all the time, show it to your friends.
Only way to go.
And unfortunately, the man's gone down. So let's hope he can get that bike fixed. Let's see a look at that. Already too much lean angle, too much front brake, and unfortunately, the front just folded.
To be honest with you, the wrong line going in there. He was just too close to the apex at that point. The apex is basically halfway through the corner, and he literally just took the wrong line through there. Lost the front end, and that's it. Game over. Can you believe that? What a change-up and what a turnaround. But that's how this championship has gone all season long. You think to yourself, this is done, it's finished, it's over. Go and speak to Darren Larea. He'll tell you all about that.
And this is a good battle now on track with Coccione and Tyrese Robert. Remember, Tyrese Robert came from the 150s up into this class. Such a beautifully, look how stylish that rider is. Gets his bum on the seat, running almost into pit lane, using all the track and more as we head into the final lap. So that's going, I think, for a potential 4th or maybe even a podium finish now that we've lost Steffen. So that's really all honors to play for out on track, and Tyrese Robert going to do all he can to maybe pick up as he's just
podium.
he's lost a little bit of time on Coccione, who's looking around him. But yeah, William Friend, that's 25 more points in the bag, but that also promotes Brandon Doyle up into a podium finish, so more points for him.
Yeah, of course, Doyle will probably finish second now to William Friend, so potentially that's how it's going to end up. I'm just thinking, is Lance Murray still in the picture? Yes, he is. So Lance Murray will be fighting for 3rd. That's the 4th place battle then just behind there with Coccione and Tyrese Robert, but still going at it. We're on to the final lap. The checkered flag is waiting, and it'll be waiting for Wild William Friend on the transport.co.za KTM. Also out of Rad and Naked Bikes. A great effort there from the youngster. This is what he needed to do. Just come across, consolidate this championship, wrap it up, and that's 1 win in the bag. Doyle in 2nd place will still keep the championship very much wide open, as that is William Friend with another 25 in the bag. Good effort there from him.
And Tyrese Robert, he just didn't manage to get one over Luca Coccione. You could see, well done, thumbs up. Another trophy for William Friend and closer to that championship. So it really is going to play on his mind. Greg, you're going to head down to the podium to speak to these young future champions. And William Friend, another great ride. He really has dominated. I don't want to say dominated because he's had a lot of competition this year in the Super Junior category. But first season out, and it looks like he is going to take the overall honors. He's got a race number 2 later. To pick up hopefully another win and potentially a championship, a national championship in the first season of the RC390 Cup. A great ride there from Brandon Doyle. He really just kept his head clean and managed to pick up a podium position. And unfortunately, Brandon Steffen, you could see going into turn 1, hard on the brakes, turning in early. You can't really do that. And he was just on the complete wrong line, too much front brake. And unfortunately, that little RC390 just let go. William Friend must have been looking at that thinking, wow, I've just had the perfect day. I've just been handed the lead and 25 more points. But not a massive crash there for Steffen. So I think he will get up, get that bike fixed, and hopefully will compete again in race number 2. And that man as well, CJ Hackett, unfortunately not having the best first time out. We saw him start from the front row of the grid, but didn't make the start he wanted to, and unfortunately crashed out trying to get his way through the field. So they're going to have to get that bike fixed. Dave Griffin and the guys from Rad Motor, you got a lot of work to do. I hope you bought a lot of spares because there's a couple of guys that need them. Get them ready for race number 2 coming up later.
Yeah, fantastic stuff here in podium area, and these guys ready to rock and roll for race number 2 now. But a couple of guys with some issues, as you were talking about there, Rob, and I think we need to take that into account because they will be back. But let's get our top 3 onto the podium. 3rd place, a great effort there, hanging tough, coming from 6th place on the grid, Lance Murray. 2nd place, Dominic Doyle, keeping this championship very much wide open, and he had to go up and get right behind his championship leader. Let's get him up on the podium. Well done, Dominic Doyle, 2nd place today. And transport.co.za's and Rad Moto, Wild William Friend back up on top. Now some happy campers up there. 3rd place can be handed up Mr. Tim Cook from Gas Sports. That goes to Lance Murray. Mark from Pirelli will be handing out 2nd place to Dominic Doyle. And first and foremost, Dave Griffin going to hand out to Wild William Friend for the first race win in Super Juniors. How awesome effort from our youngsters. Let's get them down here and find out how things were out on track. Starting first and foremost with Lance Murray. Lance, come and join us down here. Dude, didn't quite go according to plan for qualifying, 6th place, but as soon as you saw CJ with a bit of a problem, you just capitalized and went into turn 1 in 3rd and stayed there.
Yeah, well, the problem with qualifying was my tire pressures weren't right, but No, worked on it a bit after the qualifying and still sliding, but better than usual.
It's amazing what you can do when you go and talk to Mark from Pirelli and he tells you exactly what tire pressure to run, eh?
Yeah, no, he knows what he's doing.
Awesome stuff. Looking forward to more of the same and possibly one step higher or even 2 steps?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that's fighting words. I like to hear that. Let's get second place down here. Dom, you have to do it all today, buddy. Unfortunately, you've got to get up there and get as many points in the bag to keep this championship alive and cooking.
Yeah, I just had to push and get past Lance to get into third. And unfortunate for Brandon, but good on me for second.
No doubt about it. But there were a couple of riders that went down that helped you to get to that second place. They'll be back in race number 2, so it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, I'll just try and push hard in the second race.
Good job. Well, keep it up. It's great riding from you there. Wild William, get in here. Here he comes. It's another awesome bit of riding from this youngster. Although, on occasions, buddy, it looked like the front end was battling a little bit and you were taking some strain. It wasn't plain sailing.
No, well, we had problems with tire pressures the whole race, and my gear lever wasn't kicking into third gear so much. So I was struggling going into turns, but then after that I just backed off a bit and thought, let me just get points. And then with my luck, he fell, and then that's how I won.
So basically, you've got to do it all today and try and get both wins in the bag. One's done. It's now another one. But you still have some potential competition coming from the riders behind you, particularly from CJ, who didn't have his first outing the way he wanted.
Yeah, well, hopefully we fix the gear lever and the tire pressure, and it should be all fine.
Thanks, Greg, and great podium ceremonies down there. But we're going to head into race number 2 now of the Super Juniors. Can that man, William Friend, pick up another win and edge himself that little bit closer to his first championship? Brandon Staffen, the man from Cape Town, we saw him lead. He had the pace, but he made a mistake going into turn 1 and lost the front of that KTM RC390 and crashed out. CJ Hackett, third on the grid there, had a terrible start, had to make his way through the field, and unfortunately also crashed out. So plenty of spares being used here for these KTM RC390s. But Dave Griffin and the guys from Rad Moto and KTM SA doing a great job to get those bikes out there. Tyrese Robert, also a man to watch out for. He will be doing all he can to finish on that podium, as well as does Luca Coccioni and that man Lance Marais. We saw him come from the back of the grid and he finished in 3rd place in race 1. Spoke about tire pressures, and so did William Friend. They're oh so crucial, and track temperatures now definitely changing from what they were in race number 1. Definitely hotter conditions and a lot cooler here now with some clouds coming over, so that's going to play a key role in bike setup out there on track. William Friend, like I said, he must be thinking one thing and one thing only, and that is championship. His closest competitor, Brandon Doyle, managed to pick up 2nd in the first heat, but it wasn't good enough. He lost 5 more points to William Friend in that championship contention, as Brandon Staffen pops a nice little wheelie there off the start. This is just the warm-up lap. Remember, they get one little warm-up lap. They race the short track and not the big track that we just saw from the Super M and bots. So they get one warm-up heat in those tires, and then it's going to line up for race 2 action of the Super Juniors. And William Friend, definitely the man. He's at the back there, just taking his time, stretching, getting his mind right to try and attack race number 2, as he did in race number 1. Really kept his cool in race number 1, while others around him made mistakes and picked up that race win. And 25 more points to his championship aspirations. CJ Hackett, we hope a little bit more from the young man. In his first Super Juniors race, he put it 3rd on the grid in qualifying, and unfortunately crashed out in race 1, and he will really be looking to make amends for that, because we all know that he's got the pace. He wants to run up with those 2 men out front. Great work from Brandon Staffen's team all the way from Cape Town. They fixed that KTM of his, so he's out there. He'll fill up number 2 spot on the grid, just behind William Friend. Tyrese Robert comes to the line on his beautifully prepared Rad Moto KTM RC390. All run the same tires, all run the same fuel, all run the same everything. These bikes are all identical machines, so really it's up to the rider to get the best out of the little KTM RC390 as possible. As the red flag goes out, signaling that it's time to go racing, and the red light will come on the bridge there. As soon as it goes off, we are underway, and it looks like a good start there from our pole man William Friend, and a better start there from CJ Hackett. I'm just trying to see. He's going into turn 1. Yep, 3rd position there with Tyrese Robert on the inside. Ooh, locks up the front end. So great riding there from the young man to keep that up. He really did manage to hold that. I don't know how he held that, but William Friend trying to make a move on the inside of Staffen. No, not going to make it stick. Hackett, a much better start now. What can the young man do? Can he stick with William Friend and the Staffen, the Cape Town man? out front, and looks like he's doing a good job. Nice wide sweeping line there. Gets hard on the gas onto the short little back straight, and then it's hard on the brakes into the right-hander. Then they flick it left very fast. That's our championship contender, bike number 26, Brandon Doyle. He's trying to get up into that podium finish again, as he did in race 1, with Lance Murray just behind him. Tyrese Robert really did do all he could to avoid hitting any other riders going into turn 1, and did a great job at that. You can see the bikes bouncing around everywhere. These riders really are pushing these bikes to the absolute limit. And it is that man Stefan out front at the moment, with William Friend right on his tail heading into turn 1. This is where Stefan made the mistake in race number 1. We saw him just turn in a bit too early, too hard on the brakes, and he lost the front end of that KTM of his. William Friend, good drive out of turn number 1. He goes in on the brakes, and he's made the move into turn 2 on the inside. He now leads the race. He's going to flick it left here. Does Stefan have an answer? No. Nice wide sweeping lines there. They're going to have Brandon Doyle up into 3rd place ahead of CJ Hackett. So there was a pass on track there. And this is a great battle. Look at the right all there. Everyone in contention for the lead here and a top 3 position. Maria, our podium finisher in the early race, has dropped a bit further back than he would want to be, with William Friend looking like he's got the hammer down. He's really putting out a massive lead now on that man Stefan in 2nd place. Hackett there in 3rd. Just behind Brandon Doyle. The pit boards come out. Think, I like that. Blaze 51, think. The pit board says there to William Friend, and that's exactly what he has to do, because he's got a championship to think about. He's out front and he's got 25 points. If he picks up this win, I'm terrible at maths, so don't even ask me, but he could possibly take his first ever title. I'm not going to even try and work out the maths. I'll wait for Greg to come and do that, because I've only got 10 fingers, and I know it's a lot more than that. And Brandon Doyle on the inside trying to make the move, and that was a bit too tight, and he didn't make it stiff. Stefan managed to hold him off. But Brandon Doyle, you can see he's doing everything he can to get past, because he's the only one who can challenge William Friend in the championship, trying to make whatever move he can on Stefan into 2nd place, but unfortunately not making it stick, and it's still that man, William Friend, out front. Lance Murray has made moves. He's now ahead of Tyrese Robert and Lucio Coccioni, and Greg is now back in the studio. Greg, how's this for racing?
Yeah, it's incredible stuff, Rob. Sorry to leave you all on your own there. Had to do the tin run tour handover there to Kids Haven. Pat and the youngsters that have come and joined us there, they've just walked away with 2 big bins of free food, courtesy of all the motorcycle riders who came in before 10 o'clock this morning and brought along a can of food as a free entry. So if you'd got you early on your bike, but you could have got in and not spent that $70.
I could have bought that can of baked beans I've had in my cupboard for about 4 years.
There you go.
Stefan, oh, look at that. That was Brandon Doyle. He mimicked that move the lap before, but he's made it stick now. He's sacrificed drive, but he's managed to hold off Stefan, who's been demoted now to 3rd place. So Doyle really on the charger. He can see William Friend ahead of him. That's the only target he's got in mind. I want to beat William Friend. I lost 5 points in race 1. I need to get those 5 points back.
Yeah, he's got to get up there and get the pass on. CJ Hackett with a much better start here and having a good run down in 4th place, although he got caught out ever so slightly as Doyle put that move on, and it made him make a slight mistake. Lance Murray just behind, and then of course the battle between Robert and Coccioni. Tyrese Robert just put in a personal best of a 56.4. In fact, every single one of the riders, bar the top 2 in the 56s, the other 2, William Friend and Doyle, into the 55.7s.
Stylish riding here from all the riders. You can see them just hanging off, such little guys, but they have so much style. Really a great series to learn racecraft. You can come, like you said, get all of the guys from Rad Moto. You can rent one of these bikes, whether you're a youngster, you're an old guy who wants to come do some racing. It really is an affordable way to go racing. And at the moment, you can see it really is competitive out there on track. Lance Murray not getting the start he did in race 1. He's having a big battle on track there with Robert and Coccioni just behind him. And he was our 3rd place finisher in race number 1. So a bit of work there to do for Murray. And again, like we said earlier on, warmer conditions. The track has cooled down, so tire pressures and setup play a crucial role now.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a crucial role all through the day in every single category, specifically in this one, because as you said, a 0.1 of a bar here and there can change the setup on the bike dramatically. The one cool thing about the tires that they do run, initially when this championship started out, there weren't enough Pirellis in the country, so they allowed the riders to run Metzeler's or Pirellis. Now they're all on the Pirelli, and Mark from Pirelli has told me that basically this tire doesn't go better or worse throughout the race. It's exactly the same from the word go until the flag comes out. So you're not going to get any advantage other than when you're playing around with the tire pressures to the bike. The rubber itself is pretty much exactly the same right the way through.
And we also heard William Friend saying after the race number 1 that he had some problems with his gearbox, so the team went and looked at that. Looks like they've sorted it out now, because he's attacking the turns a lot more than we saw in race number 1, but much improved ride from that man in second place at the moment. Brandon Doyle didn't have the qualifying he wanted, but he's up there in second place now, but he's lost a lot of drive to Staffen, who comes down the front straight, and this is where Staffen had that crash in race number 1, but look at that. Oh, that's so tight going into there, but Doyle holds on to that second position just ahead of Staffen, who I think pulled out of that, reminiscing of that race 1, holding that brake a little bit too much and losing the front end.
Just maintaining right now, staying behind Doyle. Doyle is actually lapping slightly quicker on a 7:03 as opposed to a 7:05. Now, slightly quicker, 1,000th of a second quicker. I don't even say that in 1,000th of a second. But it's only 0.8 of a second gap between the first 3. Then it's down to Hackett. Hackett just battling a little bit there, as I mentioned. In the Northern Regions Championship on these particular bikes, he went out and won overall. So the potential was there for him to be a race winner and to be in contention. He hasn't quite got to grips with the national side of Super Juniors. But I think with a bit more time in the saddle, he's certainly going to be in it.
We've seen this throughout the whole season with Friend. At the early paces, he pulls out a nice big lead, and then the guys hunt him down slightly. It looks like Doyle and Staffen are on the charge, and they are closing that gap to our leader, William Friend. So this race is far from done and dusted, as these two riders are going to close that gap, and we're going to have a race-long battle again, as we saw in East London, coming down to the last lap, last corner.
Yeah, great stuff from these youngsters, really putting on a super show. And they have been doing it all season long, so awesome stuff. I can tell you that we're just picking up some news that sounds like the boys from Bell Helmets have just tuned in with us too. Great to have Sean along, and hopefully he's enjoying all the action that's out there. None of these riders are running a Bell. Maybe you need to have a chat to one of them.
That would be nice. Tyrese Robert there, he's now really mounting a massive charge on Lance Moret just ahead of him. I just love the style of these young guys. I remember when I started racing, I looked terrible. I looked like a chicken on a donkey. I just looked so terrible. It just didn't make sense. But these guys have grown up riding pocket bikes. They've gone through Northern Region, CBR 150 Cup, 250 Cup, and this is where they are now, on the national scene, being exposed to the whole of South Africa and putting on amazing racing. This series really is the stepping stone into the 600s and potentially the 1000s.
Yeah, the nice thing about it as well is not only South Africa but worldwide, with our live streaming feed heading all over the world. I know that Dr. Nick van der Meulen, ex-Cape Town commentator, is a big moment there. But he's tuned in all the way across in the land of chocolate bars and funny knives that have got attachments on them. So great to have him. I heard he was listening in on us, so good to have that. And I know all around the world we've got some riders participating in World Championship events, and hopefully they've tuned in today to see how things are going here at Red Star.
Brandon Doyle is on a serious charge. Did you hear the tire squeaking from that bike as he was asking for the power? And you could see the pit wall urging him on to close that gap, and he's done it onto William Friend. So William Friend going to have to use all his racecraft. It's Dominic Doyle in second place at the moment. He's closing that gap. Look at that, he's right on William Friend's tail. This is really where he makes a big difference. Going into the right-hander here, he flicks it left. He makes up so much time here, but he had looked hairy the lap before. He's going to have to calm it down. Look at the tight line. He's going on the inside. Does he make it stick? He does. He's past William Friend.
Friend comes back at him.
Yeah, Friend's come back. That's great racecraft, and this is going to go right down to the wire. I can tell you now, because William Friend is not going to give this up.
I'm loving the fact that we've only got about 3 laps to go, or 2.5 laps to go for these youngsters, as they're going to come across the line one more time. But Doyle is on it, and he has to. He's got to go out and win. He cannot take a second place to William Friend. Remember, this championship is up for grabs, and heading into this round, the championship is between William Friend and Dominic Doyle. Doyle is the only man who can catch Friend. And if he stays right where he is right now, I don't think there's enough points in hand for William to wrap it up. He's going to go to Daisy's Raceway.
Oh, Dominic Doyle is so late on the brakes. He really is piling the pressure on that front end of that KTM of his. And this is where he is so fast. He really closes the gap on William Friend here. But William Friend is now, he knows where Doyle's made a mistake. Looks like Doyle has run wide. Yep, he's run wide into turn 2. So that's pretty much ended his chances. He's now got to hold off the challenge of Brandon Staffen just behind him. But that has played into the hands now of William Friend, who looks behind him and he sees the gap and he knows, I've only got one more lap after this to hold off the challenge. I've just got to keep my pace. Unfortunately, it was a mistake there from Dominic Doyle going into turn 2. It just sounded like he hit a false neutral or something, but got it all wrong, had to run wide, and that's really handed the win now to William Friend and potentially the championship, because remember, Friend is out front in the championship with Doyle in second. Stafford is looking to get some points after not picking up any in race 1, and CJ Hackett from third on the grid is now running in fourth. He also didn't pick up any points, but look at this, Stafford on the inside and Dominic Doyle, this is into the last lap. Oh, look at this, this is world-class racing from these youngsters, man.
Top quality as always out of the Super Juniors now into turn 2. Doyle going at it, hammer and tongs with Brandon Staffen for second place on the podium. Second place in the championship. Just doing a quick calculation while you were chatting there. No matter how it finishes up here, it is going to definitely go down to Daisy. There's going to be, I think, about a 48-point deficit. And with 50 points up for grabs, there's still a mathematical chance. So it won't be wrapped up here by William Friend. He's tried hard to take the double victory. It looks like he's going to do that. Doyle has come right in the closing stages here and is looking to possibly keep that championship open. And if he stays where he is right now as they come out of the final turn, yes, indeed, we're going to go to Daisy's Raceway at Port Shepstone to wrap up the Super Junior Championship. It's a double victory for William Friend. Doyle takes second. Staffen comes through for a third place. And a Cape Town man on the podium.
CJ Hackett manages to hold off the rest of the field. He picks up fourth place. You can see William Friend, he stopped. I think he thinks he might have won the title because he's trying to find out from, I think that's his mother or his father, trying to find out, hey, have I won the championship? William, unfortunately, you have not won the title, but you've definitely done yourself no harm. You can go to Desi now and just pick up a top 3 place, and you will be crowned the first ever South African KTM Super Junior champion. Great ride from Dominic Doyle there, really amazing. He really gave it everything he had. You could see him sparks coming off that KTM, scraping everything possible on that bike. A thumbs up there to Brandon Staffen, who looks a little bit disappointed. Remember, he was right up there in race number 1, challenging for the win, and unfortunately crashed out. And he's picked up second, third place there now on track. So he's got to go to Cape Town with a third place trophy. But it could have been so much better had race 1 just gone a little bit better there for him. Lance Marais picked up 5th position, so just off the podium. We saw him in the podium in race 1, unable to do that in race number 2. Tyrese Robert in 6th, and Coccione there in 7th, as I think this is William Friend celebrating his double for the day. They've put the number 1 plate on there. I don't know if that is mathematically correct. Well, don't ask me. Greg did the calculations, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and confirm that down at the podium and see if Greg can finalize that. But certainly that young man, William Friend, thinks he's done it. And heading into Desi, even if he hasn't picked it up here, he really just has to finish race number 1 at Desi to be crowned the 2015 Super Junior champion. Well deserved. He really has been the front runner since the start of the season. Had a couple of issues with that bike earlier on in the season, mechanical troubles, but he's kept his head focused and he's picked up race wins where he's had to and podium finishes where he's had to. And now he's carrying that number 1 plate. And we're just going to have to wait and see. Oh, no, don't let it fly off there. That won't be too cool.
Dave Griffin from Rad KTM. It is definitely the championship wrapped up. My calculations weren't exactly right. It's about 52 points he's now going to have going into the final round. So the battle is going to be for second place in the championship. Doyle's done it all to sort it out. Yes, it is a number 1 plate. A makeshift one at that. If you can't make...
Your second race for the day is about to start, so please make your way down to pit lane. Super 600.
If you can't make a number 1 plate out of duct tape, then you haven't used enough duct tape. But a great effort there from Wild William Friend to take the inaugural Super Junior champion and the championship now. But let's get them up onto the podium, and then we'll get the celebration started after that. Third place today, a good comeback for the Keaton and Janssen man out of Cape Town. It's Brandon Staffen up in the third place. Second place, he pushed him hard all the way through, trying to keep the championship still alive heading into the final round at Daisy's Raceway. But Dominic Doyle will now go and fight for second place in the championship. Let's get him up for second place today. And ladies and gentlemen, your new Super Junior champion for 2015, the inaugural champion in this class, Wild William Friend. Awesome effort there, youngsters. And third place, Mr. Guguzulu, going to be handing that to Brandon Staffen. Definitely worth the travel up from Cape Town there, Brand. Well done, buddy. Second place, Tim Cook, going to hand to Dominic Doyle. And, of course, it wouldn't be fitting not to hand first place, other than from the Rad KTM man, Mr. Dave Griffin. Wild William Friend, first place, and your new champion. Let's get them down for a quick chat once we've got Paulie to get the photos. It's going to start with Brand. Come on down here, big guy. A little bit of a mistake in race number 1 there for you. Pretty much a bit of a costly one for you too.
Yeah, I had terrible grip issues the whole weekend, and I went in, I think I hit a bad patch of tar, and it was so unsudden, and it just went faster than I could react.
Oh, he managed to pick it up nicely and still get onto the podium for race number 2. We're going to Desi's Raceway next time. Hopefully you're going to be coming to join us. I'm sure that you're going to work hard to do that and bring Kewan along for the ride for the final round.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. I hurt myself a bit in my crash, but we're going to just soldier through.
Awesome job. Well done and congratulations. Second place. Wow, Mr. Doyle. Dude, you pushed so hard. I'm really impressed with the effort you put in there. It was do or die stuff. Unfortunately, not enough. And going into the final round, you're now going to try and fight to keep second place.
Yeah, I'll try and get to the front in the last round to maintain my second place and get as close to William, even though he has won the championship. But I'd just like to thank Uncle Malcolm Boats, my dad, and Auto Motorcycles.
Oh, brilliant stuff. And I know that you're going to be back for more next year and hopefully continue the fight in this really exciting championship.
Yeah, excited for next year to try and get a championship win.
Awesome stuff. Well done. Let's get our champion in here. Number 1. Bring that number 1 along for you. That's impressive stuff. Well, did they cut that out in the last 2 seconds of the race? I think I will. Brilliant stuff, buddy. First and foremost, a double victory on the day. So pretty happy with that. But more importantly, the championship in the bag.
Yeah, it's crazy how we actually won this. I don't know what to say, but thanks to Rad, Transport.co.za, and my parents for making this possible.
I think it's been an incredible season. Bit of up and down for you. You've had the woes as well as the wins, and that's how you take it. You don't win it on your best day, you win it on your worst day.
Yeah, we've had problems from the start, but I mean, then that was just a good luck. Eh?
Looking forward to heading down to Desi now and maybe just cementing it with a double victory?
Hopefully.
The Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Digital Entertainment On Demand and their associate sponsors.